Hello again, and welcome to episode 150 of SDGC for Thursday, June 6th. If you're not aware, Super Deformed Gamescast meets right here each and every Thursday night at 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, where we discuss the latest gaming headlines with a wide variety of panel members and guests. We also do a whole bunch of other stuff as time allows, like a separate show about movies and television, community game streaming, and a mental health support show. If you've been along for the ride so far, welcome home. And if not, hey, feel free to stick around and maybe throw us a sub. Every single podcast is archived the next day on our YouTube channel for those who like to watch. And you can find us on all major podcasts.
No.
For those
We said you asked us if you should do that, and we unanimously said no.
When have I ever fucking listened to anything you people have asked me not to do?
Yeah, that just encouraged him.
Like, literally, like, if you want me... Reb, you should know by now. If you want me to not do something, you should beg me to do it. John, please do this. Do it. You should really do it, John.
Please play a mobile game. Please
you know
play
what?
a mobile
It's
game,
true.
John. No, you take like 2 months to do it.
Yeah,
I did it.
but he did it.
Yeah, by me like guilting you into it, and by making a bet that you lost 2 weeks in a row.
Look, you know what? Beggars can't be choosers. I've got a lot going on in my life right now, Reb. I'm sorry, but I got it done. I got it done.
My point is that your point doesn't make any sense, man. I'm not going to beg you to do anything.
Here's my point. Here's my point. We got a dope guest tonight. We got a super cool guest. Imran has been in chat for like how many months now? Like
A while
now.
And yet he agreed to come on the show.
He did. I've been trying to get Imran Khan on the show, but everybody in chat knows who Imran is, but we'll introduce him anyway. Imran Khan from Game Informer. Dude, thank you so much for agreeing to join us.
Yeah.
Thank you guys for having me. It's pre-E3 week, or
Yeah, it is. Yes, it is.
E3 month, or some weird part of the 3-month hellscape that is E3.
Well, and you know what I love about having Imran on is that he is familiar enough with our bullshit to not be scared off by it. Like he's like, I'm familiar with these chuds.
I am the progenitor of a lot of the bullshit.
Yeah, I was gonna
You
say,
are actually.
in many instances, he not only encourages it, but he instigates it. So really,
Yes.
we should be thanking him.
Has anyone ever been scared off by our bullshit, though?
No, that's just something John tells himself because he's incapable of acknowledging that sometimes the show is good, actually.
The show is like, I would say the show is like 90% good, but it's 100% awesome.
And
When I get
10%
real
John
low.
No, there's the other 10% right there.
There's the other
That's
10%.
right.
Wait, John,
How's
is that
everybody
your
doing
YouTuber
in-
voice?
What's that?
Remember we were talking earlier today about how you're gonna have a career as a YouTuber, specifically to take
Yes.
me down.
Yeah.
A very serious career as a YouTuber. I'll have you know, I went to 4 years of YouTuber U to become who I am today. Okay.
Isn't that just PrE3?
Oh, Jesus Christ. We got video games to talk about. And I actually, kicking it off, I actually have one video game to talk about in particular, because I know Reb has been very excited about this. So last night I sat down and it took me about 45, 50 minutes, maybe a little longer because I was admiring the artwork, to play Florence on mobile. As everybody knows, my long-standing love for the mobile platform and all the games that are available for it. But I lost a bet and I agreed to play. I agreed to play Florence. So it took me a little while, a little longer than I think Reb was happy with. But I played Florence, and I am ready to give my thoughts on it. Who else here has played Florence? I know Reb has.
Yeah.
Imran has. Justin has.
Just me.
Derek's the odd man
Derek?
out.
I guess I gotta correct
Florence,
that.
You
Derek,
gotta lose a bet.
Derek, you
So-
would like it. You'd like
I don't
it.
need to lose a bet. I'll play it.
It's
So-
right up your alley.
Here's my question: when I talk about Florence, do I talk about the ending? Do I talk about spoilers?
No, just kind of.
It's been out long enough, right? Yeah.
I mean,
yeah,
you can
Well, I
just
think
broad
Derek
strokes
literally
it.
just said he was gonna play it.
It's okay. Spoilers don't ruin things for me. It's fine.
okay.
No,
I can
okay,
do
broad
that.
strokes. Don't ruin it for Derek.
Okay, so Florence. So it starts. So if I remember correctly, the game has 20 chapters, and the main character's name is Florence Yeo. I think I'm pronouncing her last name right.
Yeah.
And the game's got 6 acts, right? And what I thought was interesting was that the game starts with her just doing everyday mundane tasks like brushing her teeth, and then, like the whole game, it's of course it's narrative focused. But what's interesting is that the game, like the gameplay itself, is like little mini games, and where you're not like there's no challenge, you're just like acting out Florence's life, right? So like be it like brushing her teeth, and I had a little fun with that one because whenever I would brush her teeth, like I would start real slow, and then I go and eating sushi. Again, there's no challenge, but that's not the point of the game, right? The point of the game is to just live out Florence's life. And so I wasn't sure how I would feel about that at first. Having, cut my teeth on really difficult games like Dark Souls and stuff. I like to actually feel like I'm doing something, but I was really charmed by kind of stepping into her shoes, so to speak. It made Florence feel more than just a character in a video game. It felt like I was helping her live out her life. It felt like I was helping her with daily tasks, which I thought was interesting.
I've been watching Red while you've been saying this, and it's been hilarious.
You're right, and so like, what is interesting to me is that like, it really, like, the beginning of the game really set the tone for just kind of how her life, like it was more of a statement on general life than it was everything else. We wake up, we brush our teeth, we hop on the metro or the bus or whatever. We're just all, and everybody there is looking at their phones and swiping right and favoriting things and retweeting things. So I felt like the opening of the game was a real interesting treatise on all of our lives, not just Florence's. But then she meets Krish. She meets Krish. Am I pronouncing that right? Krish?
Yes.
Okay. She meets Krish, who is he's a performer. He's a street performer. And one thing leads to another, and they start going on dates, and then they kiss. And for anybody in chat who has not played it, I don't want to say how it ends. I really don't, but I will say this. Florence wants to be or Krish wants to be a cellist, I think, right? Like he wants to play the cello, and Florence encourages him to do this. And Krish gives her with a painting set, and she really wants to be an artist. She wants to be a painter. And so they each have these goals that they want to attain. And it was really pleasant, and the game kind of gets a little sad. I don't want to say how it ends, but what I will say is, interestingly enough, it drew parallels to another game that had a very divisive ending, and that was Firewatch. Because the ending of Firewatch just kind of ended, and it didn't end with a bang. It didn't end with a big heroic, there wasn't your character, wasn't, leaping off of mountains and saving people from, falling into the fire. He just kind of left. The helicopter came and got him, and he left. And things didn't necessarily turn out the way he wanted, and things didn't necessarily turn out the way that you, the player, might have wanted. And Florence ends in a very similar way. I was sad at the way it ended because I had envisioned a different outcome for Florence and Krish. I found myself becoming emotionally invested in their relationship, and there was a specific outcome that I was hoping for. And at first I was just
doing a great job of like dancing around the spoiler aspect.
Man, whatever, who cares? and who cares? Like I'll say this.
Derek.
I'll say this. It wasn't necessarily the happy ending that I wanted, but these two characters still, I feel like they grew as characters. It's life, exactly what Imran just said, and life doesn't necessarily always go the way we intend.
So when that game first came out, I was dating somebody, and I played about an hour of it, and I showed her like, hey, this game, it's us, like play this game. So she does. She goes and plays it at work. I had not finished it by that point. So she comes back the next day. It's like, yeah, it's okay, but why did you make me play this? I'm like, it's us. Like, it's cool because like it's an Indian guy and an Asian girl, and like it's like, isn't that a weird coincidence? She's like, he's much taller than you though. Like, oh,
I'm surprised she didn't say you're trying to break up with me, aren't you?
I have my theories about how that relationship ended, and I feel like Florence is to blame.
Florence is the reason that Imran's relationship
John.
I didn't do it.
John.
I didn't.
If you had played it earlier.
Are you suggesting that you enjoyed your time playing a mobile game?
I did.
All right.
I did. I absolutely did. I'm fully willing to admit that I really enjoyed Florence.
Now,
and it's one of the. Well, hold on, real quick, Finn. Real quick. Let me make this one finished point. I feel like it's the perfect kind of mobile game for me. Something that is I can finish it in under an hour. I can do it. I can do it on my lunch hour at work. which you know, and I, those are the kind of mobile experiences that I, you know, it hasn't changed my opinion of mobile as a platform. Like it's never going to be something that I'm incredibly invested in, but I could certainly play another game like Florence. I really enjoyed it, Reb. I really enjoyed it. It was worth my time. I would not say that time was wasted at all.
I'm really glad you liked it.
Finn.
You kind of answered my question. I was going to say, did this experience at least open you up to more possibilities in mobile? Like if we came to you with the same fervor of recommendation that we did with Florence, would you be more willing now to at least give it a shot?
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay.
You know, and if there are other games out there, if there are other mobile games out there like Florence, throw them at me. I'll play them.
I have the next one. I think like
what's the next game, Finn? What's the next game?
He freezes.
He fucking froze right as he's about to give me the next game. Classic Finn.
Classic
This is what we call a dramatic irony.
He's yeah. Wow. That is fucking perfect timing. Anyway,
Discord is killing it tonight.
Finn is actually in.
He looks like he's in the sunken place.
He looks like he's Finn's not frozen. He's caught between worlds.
It's like that thing in Silent Hill. Like,
is this Stadia?
Yeah,
is this Stadia?
In the chat.
And then they just freeze.
Yes. This is actually a tie-in to the new Fatal Frame that's coming out for Nintendo Switch.
Thinking of that It Chapter 2 trailer.
So speaking of Stadia, it's I feel like
thank you for the segue.
For 2 weeks, like not a whole lot was happening, and then all of a sudden the entire industry was like, "Yo, check this fucking shit out." And everything happened like over the past 24 hours.
Everyone understands that E3 is next week, right? Like it's It's not this week.
Hey,
Finn, you're back.
You look a little bit
are you on your phone? You look different.
Yeah, I'm on my phone now. For some reason, my computer won't connect.
You look bronzed. Did you get a tan?
It's the lighting.
Oh, it's very moody.
What was the game?
What was the game?
Device 6.
Device 6. That sounds like some made up CIA shit right there.
I think you can really into it personally.
That sounds like some made up shit right there. Like Device 6. That sounds like something out of National Treasure 3 that Nick Cage's character is looking for. Like
Justin's frozen mid drink too. What's happening
now?
tonight?
I don't know. I know it's not me. It's this time. It's not me. It's fucking not me.
I have a button on my keyboard.
Not my fault.
That to people.
So, all right, Stadia. So we had the big Stadia breakdown today. You know what? I want to kick it over to Imran first because he is our guest, and you know how we treat our guests on SDGC. What is that supposed to be? What is that,
No. I was laughing because Finn got suddenly large.
Finn.
When Justin dropped out, Finn moved to the middle of my screen, and Finn just went.
Hold on.
Sorry, that was not.
That's the best kind of.
Before we continue, we need to point out for a second that John was about to say Finn get large.
Finn is large and in charge. This is getting weird. Anyway, okay. Stadia. This is just classic SDGC nonsense right here. Stadia. So the big Stadia. What was it? It wasn't called a Direct though. What was it called? The Connect. Very clever. Imran.
Mm-hmm.
You are, of course, you've been in the industry for some time now. You know, obviously, you know, you do a lot of good work over at Game Informer. Like, and I don't want you to speak for anybody else at Game Informer, but what did you personally take away from the Stadia Connect today? Like, is this something that, are you super confident in what Stadia is and what Google is bringing to the table, or?
I think they have incredible technology and they have a very interesting method of delivering games, and they've got a number of publishers that are on their side, but it's still the same old business model. And I don't know how successful that is going to be. Like, if you're going to be this revolutionary, and if you have the money of Google and the marketing muscle of Google, you've got like Phil Harrison, like out there doing the Iwata thing in front of a camera.
He really
do
was
something more revolutionary than that.
Well, like what struck me, and this is open conversation, so anybody feel free to jump in. What struck me is that I felt like they were way too excited about, Justin, I think Justin's fucking entire internet crapped out.
Oh.
They really put an emphasis on get in there and get your ID before anybody else.
Yeah.
And wasn't that strange?
That was weird. And I know Imran did too, but I got the pre-briefing. And even in the pre-briefing, they were like talking to us and they were like, and you can get this. And people are going to be really excited about this. And I'm like,
Are they though?
Are they? Like, it's fine, whatever.
Things like that feel like borrowed ideas from the beginning of the 360 generation. Of like,
Yeah.
this is the kind of thing Jay Allard would be talking about with Steve Ballmer.
Holy shit, I fucking totally forgot about Jay Allard, dude. Those were the fucking days right there, man. Those were the days. Yeah, I didn't know what to think about this, right? Like, I wanted to succeed. I really want Stadia to be a thing. I said this on Twitter earlier because I don't want anything to fail. And competition breeds greatness, in my opinion. Like the things that we love, the industry that we love only gets better through competition. But based on what I saw today, I didn't see anything that was going to compel me to drop my Switch or drop my PS4 or my Xbox or
So I mean, I think that's the thing. Like it's not meant for you. It's not meant.
But who's
for
it meant for,
gamers
then?
Or for people to drop things. It's meant for the person who wants to play Assassin's Creed Odyssey but doesn't have a PS4 or like an Xbox One. Because why would you drop $400 on one of those things when you could like play this for $10 or $10 plus whatever cost it actually has?
Yeah.
The problem is, to get that momentum, you need those people. You need the you and me and the Rebs and the whatever talking about it and saying like, actually this works. Actually, it's pretty cool. It's not that bad a deal. I don't know that they're going to do that immediately, and that's the problem. Because Google is not great at keeping things going until they work.
That's a very good point. Reb?
I think Matt Piscatella, actually, he's been on the show multiple times talking about MPD stuff. He had a really good thread about that today, and he was talking about basically what you just said, Imran, like that it seems very much to be targeted at a market that the games industry doesn't have yet. This kind of weird middle ground of people who have enough money to have a decent internet connection. They have some sort of device they can play this on, whether it's a phone or a laptop or whatever, but they don't have and they have enough money to buy like a $6 game, but they don't have enough money to shell out for a big old video game console or a really fancy PC
and no data
and
packs.
Yeah. And I think it's a bit of a gamble to say that audience exists. It might. We don't know really because they're not playing games.
And I think it exists. It's just how do you get them on? Like, and
are they big enough? Like is it big enough that enough people are going to buy in to make this whole thing worth it? Like,
if you're the first through the door, you're going to be the one pelted by the most stones. So like Google, they have to be they have to realize they're being in this sort of long haul, and they're going to take a bunch of bumps and a bunch of monetary bumps along the way. And if they're not ready for that, if they're willing to drop out the first sign of like this going south, then I worry about what's next. Because I am positive this idea, the streaming future, will succeed. Whether people want it to or not, it's going to be like the future of how people take these things in. Like EA Access is a great example.
Yeah.
Because I talked to EA a couple of years ago, and they're like, "Yeah, we want to get this on every system. What if it didn't matter if you had a game on PS4, Xbox One, or PC? What if you just logged in and it had your save and it has your game and all that somewhere else?" I think that's what Google Stadia is going to get to. The idea of, oh, well, I have my iPad and I'm going to put it down and like I'm going to play on my PC. Like, that's the same idea behind the Switch. Like, what if you could do all that? And I think we're going to get there in the next 5 to 10 years. The question, I don't know if Google is willing to take the bumps to get there.
Well, like to get there, and then I want to kick it over to Finn and Derek to see if they have anything. To get there, I feel like Imran, if that timetable is right, and I think it is, like let's say it's 5 to 10 years before this really starts hitting its stride, right? Then somebody is going to have to be sacrificed on that altar in order to get this thing to work. And I feel like
Google has the money.
They do have the money, but they also have a history of not supporting their fucking products.
Yeah.
And I am afraid. Yeah, that Derek, go ahead.
I live in Louisville, y'all. They don't even support their.
Oh my God!
What?
But you know what?
He's frozen in a fantastic.
He froze in the fucking
I'm
best
not
way
frozen.
possible.
Screen cap that for me so we can make it.
No.
Yeah, somebody in chat, please screen cap that quickly.
They can't because I'm not frozen.
I'm serious.
Can you all not hear me? Is
Next
Discord
on
this much of a
SDGC.
problem?
I know that. I feel like it's a fucking raffle at this point. Like,
Can
who's gonna
anyone
fucking-
hear me at all?
What's gonna happen? Hold on. They said Raw in chat says Derek is moving. I don't see Derek
Is Derek hosting the stream?
Well, yeah, I'm
He
hosting
is.
the stream.
Oh shit, he is moving. That's weird. Like, it's weird to see him on the stream. Like, he's
Wait.
talking and nobody can hear him.
Oh,
it's
that's
fucking
so weird.
It's fucking
Discord
strange,
is
and they
shit
can
in the
hear
bed,
him.
y'all.
Is this Silent Hill? Like,
This is, dude. This
Silent
is
Hill?
this is fucking sad. This is This is the fucking upside
We
down.
may need,
It's a place of.
we may need to
I'm gonna
pause
do-
a second and let Derek
I'm gonna
drop
do a
the call
thing.
and
Hang
come back
on.
in. We can continue this.
Am I back?
There he is. There he is.
So I did this thing,
There
and
he is.
it's gonna break illusion on the show, but I switched servers.
You fucking broke immersion, Derek?
I know.
You fucking broke. There's Justin! Back! Yeah! Look at that! Holy shit!
Discord
that means I can
Discord
back to
broke
back.
my whole computer.
That fucking Derek, that fucking feed is gone! God, what the fuck
on,
is
hold on.
happening tonight?
Stadia! This
This
Google
is like a
Stadia.
weird
This
like
is-
Danganronpa game of
Yeah.
like.
Hey, Finn, you're back! Holy shit, dude!
So
Google is fucking out to get us.
this is half of the fucking point about Google Stadia is look at the problem with internet infrastructure
The
in this
fucking-
country, and yet
Aaron
Google wants us on this streaming gaming future. But also, like, I live in Louisville, y'all. It's one of the biggest cities in the country, and
They
also
took away your Google Fiber.
Google
didn't they?
straight up gave up. They were like, we're installing internet, and then they went, nah, we can't do this. They ripped all their cables out. They left trenches in our roads that they still
Are you
haven't
shitting
repaired.
me? Oh my
I am not
God.
shitting you. They left they did this weird micro trenching thing to lay their cables, and it was terrible, and it fucked everything up, and it was going to be too expensive for them to do. So they just gave up. They tore everything out, and they left like little miniature Grand Canyons across Louisville. So
It's really funny too because I live in Kansas City, and Kansas City is where Google Fiber first, we were their first city, and everybody was panicking because they thought that they were going to pull Google Fiber out of Kansas City too, and so they had to send like an email out to all their customers and be like, "Don't worry, we're not going to pull Google Fiber out of Kansas City," and we're all like, "Wait."
So what's happening with
That
Louisville?
sounds like a protection racket.
Yeah.
Like maybe if you guys give us money, then we'll stay here. It's
Basically,
Get a nice
that's how
restaurant.
they treated Louisville. Well, and what's happening now is Google's not fixing what they broke. They're not literally the roads that they broke. They're just gonna reimburse the city. Basically, they're gonna pay for it, but the city has to take care of it. And like, they can't even fix the shit they tore up. And just Google has this long history of starting these ambitious projects and then dropping them. I don't think they've got 5 to 10 years.
I actually just got a DM from Satya Nadella, and he asked me to please stop talking about Stadia. I actually just got a message from Google, guys, incoming. I got a message from Google. It says it's a real nice stream you got there, John. Be a real shame if something were to happen to it.
This is just a Google Maps screenshot of my house. Like,
Go ahead, Justin.
Yeah, kind of piggybacking off of what Derek was saying, like
Piggyback that shit, Justin.
a thing that started, kind of making me raise my eyebrows about Stadia is not just the Google outage on the East Coast from this weekend, but they also recently just shut down like their big YouTube gaming app, which was supposed to be like the relaunch, and like they started a couple years ago. And it was supposed to be like a big like relaunch and like big platform for like YouTube to be
YouTube is having a very killer week for PR.
yeah,
Oh God, that's a can of worms, man.
because they were
I just saw the
wait,
picture
John,
that
what are you
Red tweeted out. I'm
laughing
sorry.
at? I forgot what I was saying.
I
'cause
put
you're-
the
Red-
photo of Derek into chat.
That's pretty good.
There's our next emote, everybody. There's our next Twitch emote. There's the next tier. Justin, I'm sorry. Please continue.
how did anyone
Okay.
believe I was straight? I'm sorry, Justin. Continue.
Jesus fucking Christ.
I'm so sorry.
Justin, we're sorry. Please continue, buddy.
I'm sorry.
Okay, yeah. So YouTube gaming was kind of like relaunched a couple years ago after they had launched it a while ago, and like YouTube gaming kind of, when they first pitched Stadia, I'm like, okay, this is going to be kind of how they link like their YouTube gaming like project with like wider Google infrastructure at large between Stadia, like with the ability to like watch people play games and like, buy that game and play it instantly on Stadia. And then they shut it down this week. And I'm like,
It's so good.
They shut
Really?
down
You
Google
didn't
Shit
even
today during the conference. They shut down Google Shit.
It's
That's a Google ass move right there.
Wait, so that's
like like so like the combination of that and the fact that they're asking me to pay a subscription fee and buy games that I cannot play back natively, like it just seems like a really bad value proposition right now. Like I think streaming has potential with gaming. Well, I'm not sure Google is the right answer.
Justin, here's the other problem. I don't know if you guys saw what I retweeted from PCGamer.com, but apparently Stadia streaming in 4K will use up to 1 terabyte of data in 65 hours.
That's my whole ass data cap.
Shit.
Hold on. This is where the conspiracies come in, right? So
Ooh, I love
either they are hiding that because they know everything's DOA once that information comes out, or 2, Google is strong arming the ISPs to raise or eliminate data caps.
Oh, that ain't gonna work. That ain't gonna work.
Hold on. It has it has a anti-consumer pro-business side to it in my mind, because if Google gets all cozy with the ISPs and they're like, hey, we're doing Stadia, introduce a tier with an uncapped data, you can charge a crazy amount of money. We get Stadia users, you make more money. Consumers lose, but
it's literally how AT&T Fiber already does it. So
exactly.
Yeah.
See, there you go.
I mean,
Google partners with them and gives them all an excuse to start charging more.
So I've actually got some. I've got some details.
Up, by the way.
What's that? Oh, Reb, go ahead, please.
I just wanted to say that I think a lot of opinions about Stadia will either change or be reinforced after E3 for 2 reasons. The list of games that we got today was almost all stuff that's already out, right? And so, like, it's great. It's interesting that there's so much. I think it's more interesting than Imran does that there's so much publisher support for it. But whatever. But most of it
Called out.
But it's mostly older. It's mostly games that already exist. Like people who are playing them on PC already own them. I will be very interested to see how many games show up at E3 that have the little Stadia logo on them, and how many of those have the Stadia logo but do not have a Steam or an Epic Game Store logo, if any. Like that is interesting to me, because I think that if they can grab more exclusive, is Baldur's Gate 3, is that an exclusive, or is that just
no?
God, that's real boring.
They had like the exclusivity on the announcement, like, but immediately like Larian Studios tweeted out it's also coming to PC.
Come on, guys, calm down. Yeah,
I think it'll be interesting if they can get any exclusives. The other thing that I think will be interesting is if I don't know anything, but if Microsoft decides they want to talk about anything streaming related at their press event. I think that I don't think that because Microsoft's like partnering with Sony or whatever for this kind of thing. I don't think that Microsoft quite has the chops to challenge Google in terms of like infrastructure and things like that. But I do think
they do.
Well,
Azure is a big deal.
Okay, fair enough. Maybe they do. Maybe I'm underestimating Microsoft, but I do think that at the bare minimum, they definitely could come out with something with a more reasonable pricing model, or like with some connection to Game Pass or something, where people wouldn't have to rebuy a bunch of games at full price, and people would be way more happy with that, even if it didn't quite work as well.
Real quick, hold on, Justin. We got some new people in chat that I want to welcome, and welcome. We got some unfamiliar names that I've never seen before, and if not saying you don't have to at all, we're happy here. But if you want to sub on Twitch Prime, you get that sweet Saki emote that I just spammed out for everybody. So just say
that is the best.
Just throwing it out there. I got a shill. Justin, please go ahead.
So yeah, what Reb was saying is, because I do actually have hopes for streaming, and I think like Microsoft and Sony are in a position where they could offer something that I think is far more compelling, at least to me, and I think will be to a lot of like core games users, where like, and this is also based off of kind of what I've read up for Microsoft's goals on streaming and what Sony said in their like big investor conference from last month. A big part of what they were saying was they want you to be able to access your games from anywhere. And so the idea that I have of what a cool future for streaming would be is like your whole library you can play anywhere, like your saves in the cloud, like you can immediately pick up and start playing from any device anywhere. When you get home, you can turn on your TV with your home console and play it. And ideally, like that would be like a separate sub on. It might be like a separate sub on top of the other subscription. But like if you buy a game and you have your saves uploaded, you can do that anywhere. I think that's a really compelling case for streaming, and I think that would be way more compelling than just streaming only.
Maybe I don't know, Justin. I mean, because here's my thing, right? Like, and again, like I'm speaking as somebody who doesn't travel a lot. What you see is what you get. Like, this is where I play 99% of my games, right here in this room. Like, I've got a PC that I'm on. I've got a pretty powerful PC that I'm on that I never used to play games for whatever reason. I've got my PS4. I've got my PSVR. I got my Switch. Like, why would I like? I don't like this. Clearly isn't for me.
Switch. Like, that's
What's
the
that?
argument. You own a Switch. You know the argument for why people would want that.
But I mean, I don't know. Like, maybe it's just that it's not for me, and I don't understand why anybody else would want it.
It's
Who knows?
also, I know we kind of had what Imran's saying. We kind of had this conversation sort of earlier. You're underestimating mobile again.
Yeah. I probably am. I probably am.
Like that's what most of the Fortnite players are, honestly. On mobile.
My son is gonna fucking eat this up. I guarantee.
Yeah, if all you have is, you probably have like you have like a super nice phone, but you don't have a gaming PC, you don't have a console, you don't have anything like that. All your friends have been talking about fucking Assassin's Creed for the last several months, years, whatever, and you haven't ever been able to play it because you just can't afford or don't have whatever you need. But oh shit, you can now play Assassin's Creed Odyssey just on your phone, just off the internet. Great, cool, whatever.
For me, the convenience argument for it is not so much, hey, I can take it outside of my iPad. It's a thing they're almost there, and they didn't quite hit it with the business model. Was when they revealed it, like, oh, you can watch a video of Assassin's Creed and then click that button and just start playing Assassin's Creed. They need to make it a subscription, so you can just go, I'm gonna play Assassin's Creed, not I'm gonna hit this button and then go to the store page and put in my credit card number and then start playing Assassin's Creed. That's
like
a layer of abstraction people don't want.
Yeah, and even if it was just like a demo or something, you can play like the first hour with the subscription for certain games or something, and then decide if you want to buy it or something like that. Like
Stadia as a whole needs a demo. I don't know why. I think the way they're putting it of the founders pack of the, hey, do you want to take a risk? Pay us money. Like that's insanely stupid.
Hey, real quick, Engaged Family Gaming just subbed with Twitch Prime. We appreciate that. Thank you very much. Yay. I want to just real quick. I do want to make the very quick point. I'd almost forgotten about this, but there is a far more robust stable of third-party support for this than I thought there would be. Which, if nothing else, speaks towards the confidence of all the major pubs and devs that hey, this could work. Like we have no problem putting our games on this platform. Finn, go ahead.
See, that's always seems to be the case to me, because if you'll recall back during the Wii U, it really seemed like third party that had not jumped on the Wii were all in on the Wii U. Like I remember we were getting Mass Effect 3, we were getting Batman Arkham City, we were getting like all these third party games. We're like, yeah, we're coming to the Wii U, and then they were like, never mind.
This kind of sucks.
It's not the same company.
I think it's very promising that they're all on board at the start, but I would like to see where their support is in 2020.
I also want to say that
it's cool that they signed on, but the fact that because the Stadia is just a PC, it's a PC in a server bank, in California, but it's just a PC. So if you have a PC version, you're not doing anything to get it on there. You're just giving them the ISO.
Yeah.
It actually is its own. They do actually have to do a port to Stadia.
Is it proprietary hardware?
Yeah. It runs on Linux. Like it's like Linux and its own
that's not
OS.
Good.
Or something. So they at first that was one of the things I was most concerned about when they first announced Stadia, is that I thought it was going to be just, hey, if there's a PC version, we can just throw it onto our machine. No, they actually do have to port over to it. It's like a Linux Vulkan setup. Like it's not a hard port to do, but yeah, there's work involved.
So as far as games coming to Stadia, I've got a quick list here. Baldur's Gate 3, which I'm so fucking excited about. Ghost Recon Breakout. Get Packed, which is, I guess, an Overcooked style game.
Yeah, that looked fun. That looked like Overcooked trying to move house. That was
which
great.
means I'm going to be terrible at it. I'm never.
Oh
gonna
yeah.
play it.
Oh yeah. You thought we couldn't make a pizza. We can't fucking pack a box.
I can't pack a fucking box. What are you talking about?
You here? Like, I was so mad the second round was Overcooked because I can play that game. That game I'm fine at. So I see you guys like flubbing up there. And I'm like, God damn it.
You don't understand, Imran. The TV was a million yards away.
Yes.
The cheese and the bread looked exactly the same.
Thank you, Reb. Thank you, Reb.
I've been saying this for months, man. I played before you did.
Thank you, Jeff Grubb. Are you fucking listening, Jeff Grubb and Greg Miller?
We don't need John apologists. All right.
No. Somebody, no.
I lost before he did. I'm apologizing for myself.
Thank you, Reb. Thank you. If Jeff Grubb and Greg Miller, I fucking told you both, the cheese and the dough are indistinguishable on that fucking screen. They are. That's why I lost. That's why I lost. Yeah. That's why I fucking lost. Because
didn't Jeff Grubb figure it out by making literally one pizza?
He got one pizza. Minutes? He got one pizza. So you know what? All this shit about Jeff Grubb. Actually,
he made one.
He made one fucking pizza.
How many did you make, John?
That's literally
how many did you make?
So many more
Hold
than
the fucking phone. No. Just no. Fuck that. No. He made one fucking pizza.
Exactly.
Justin. Okay,
exactly.
But he got lucky.
John.
He got lucky.
Okay, John,
he just happened to get the fucking cheese
Hey,
instead of the dough. Okay, I got two
quick.
fucking pieces of dough, and I got
real quick, buddy. Calm down.
John.
Dude, Eddie. There's a lot of people listening that have no idea what we're talking about.
I just want to say, in fighting game terms, the term for when somebody makes excuses for losing
is a John.
Can I just say, like, this isn't golf.
John numbers going down.
Better than 0. Okay.
John,
Poor
come
John.
on.
We love you, John.
Come on.
Anyway, we're gonna move on now. I'm gonna go on with my list. You know what? I'm a professional YouTuber, unlike the rest of these scrubs here. Professional YouTuber.
YouTube is literally
I'm
our
gonna
least
go on with this
successful
list of
platform,
Stadia
John.
games because
I thought you said as a professional YouTuber you were about to go on and start saying some slurs and
the listeners,
Heated gaming moment.
the listeners of Arid30 in chat. Oh no,
Eric,
he's going to talk Final
don't
Fantasy.
encourage him.
You know, have I told you about our Lord and Savior Final Fantasy 15?
He just said FF. It could be Fatal Frame.
It could be Final Fight.
Something interesting about
Final
Google
Fight.
Stadia is that I'm not excited about any games on it, and I'm even less excited about the fact that Destiny 2 is on it and is also now free on everything else. So who cares, right?
Well, I think with Destiny 2, the free deal is that the new expansion is going to be included for Stadia users, whereas the regular free-to-play one is just
Vanilla.
base game and year one.
Yeah, but can we talk about how those two pieces of news dropping at the same time really muted the excitement for Destiny 2 on Stadia being free for real?
So you know what? That's actually, Reb, that's actually a really good segue.
That was my segue. I knew where we were going. I was trying to help.
Yeah. So anyway, I completely agree. Final Fantasy 15 is the second best of the series, and the reason for that is because
John,
I really enjoyed.
John,
what's that?
I really want to talk Destiny.
Fine, whatever. So a bunch of big Destiny 2 news came out today, and this just reinforces my opinion that Bungie splitting away from Activision is, honest to God, the best fucking thing that could have happened to Destiny 2. Because now you are seeing, I had been wondering what they had in store for Destiny now that they were basically free to do what they want with the franchise. And as somebody who had been I played a ton of Destiny. I played hundreds of hours of Destiny 2, and I soured on it. But I'm not gonna lie, this was really encouraging, guys. Like this was Bungie saying we can finally do what we want to do with our franchise. And I hear people typing, and now I see Rebs grinning like a mad woman up there, and Derek is looking.
Don't read the chat. I need you on
anyway,
top.
I forgot. I'll mute my keyboard.
No, it's not that. It's just that I'm not looking at chat. I'm like, what are you putting in chat right now? But I'm not. I don't even want to look. But I was really encouraged by what I saw with Destiny and cross saves. Like that's fucking huge, right? Like I mean that's a big fucking deal.
Well, and that's a story in itself.
Finn, go ahead.
No, I want to speak for one of our members that is never able to be on the show because our resident squirrel JT Flunky, he wanted me to mention this because he's excited about Stadia and Destiny and the whole cross save thing, because he can now jump onto PS4 and finally play with Justin, or he can be in his bathroom on his fucking iPad and jump on and play Destiny with anybody. And he's just very excited about the concept of cross saves in Stadia as it relates to Destiny. And he just wanted that to be known. So,
I'm sorry. Team Reb?
yeah, as in, like, I feel for her not getting any attention to also suck it over.
Team Reb?
Thank you.
Team Reb?
So I think that's actually a really good. No, I'm not gonna fight this with you, John. We want to talk about Destiny.
Oh
Stop
shit! Hey,
getting
shout out to our boy Adam Bankerst in chat, by the way. Adam, what's up, dude?
I think that's a good point from JT, because I think I bring this up at least once a month. There was a review or like a piece on the Nintendo Switch that came out like 6 months after it released or something, and it was talking about how it was, it's missing all these features, all these other things, but then like the last line or something was it's missing all these things. It's not great for these reasons, but I can play Skyrim on the toilet, and that's really all that matters.
Why would you want to play Skyrim on the toilet?
Why?
Yeah, you got nothing. You got nothing, Reb. You got nothing, do you?
Why would you want to play Skyrim on the toilet? I'm gonna play the fuck out of Pokemon in the toilet. Leave me alone, man.
Hell yeah! I'd rather talk about Pokemon than Destiny 2. Actually, I mean, if we're just going to be totally honest, I'm super psyched about Sword and Shield.
We'll get to it.
Oh,
We got Destiny.
We'll get to it.
I
We'll
want
get
to
to
talk
it.
some Destiny. I
So-
don't have much to say about
Let
Pokemon.
us talk
All
about
right.
Destiny.
So I'll say. So I was kind of hoping for crossplay, but I'll take cross saves. Justin, what does that mean? Does that mean that I can take my save from PS4 and transfer it over to PC and play there?
Yeah. So
Like-
how it works, so the cross save thing is its own story in itself, because the Stadia conference was where it was officially announced. We had some leaks that were saying various things about it the past few days. The Stadia thing was where it got announced, and it had this little like tiny text like character transfers from PS4 pending Sony approval. And so like people immediately started, tweeting at PlayStation and stuff. And then like straight up like 20 minutes later on the Bungie stream, which was live, they're like, yes, it will be on all platforms. But if you like look at their like examples for how cross save works, it just has Stadia, Xbox, and Steam. It does not have PS4 on like the example things. Like it was a very last minute change.
Well, did you see Jason Schreier's
Yeah,
thing
yeah,
today?
yeah.
It was like literally yesterday.
I had
Hilarious.
I had a mental image of Jim? What's his name?
Jim Ryan.
Jim Ryan, like going to Bungie and saying, "Listen, fucking please, like Bungie's like, please, Jim, please, just fucking do it. Just fucking do it, Jim. I will, whatever. Like, you want me to pay you? Like, just fucking give it to us, because none of this shit's gonna work, Jim, if you don't fucking do it for us." And I love the fact that I love the fact that Sony would just kind of like, I've got this mental picture of them like leaning back in their chair and just like rubbing their chin and just staring at just like
Imagine being the PlayStation social media person for like that 20 minutes.
Can you imagine that?
And just being like,
God.
come on, please,
Imagine being a video game social media person at all.
Oh my God.
I try not to.
They were getting yelled at. Like as soon as it was announced, the PlayStation like Twitter was like confirmed. Like that person's like, please stop yelling at me.
They wasted no fucking time. So I guess my question is now that Destiny 2. Well, hold on, just real quick.
Well, you would ask how it worked, and so
okay, go ahead. No, please. Yeah,
basically, it seems like you choose what your primary character is going to be. So, like, you set a primary character like on your Bungie account, and then that will be the character you can like log in with on whatever platform. And any of your purchases, gear, and anything from that account will be able to be used on any platform.
So I can only pick one character to play as? Like, is that what you're saying? Like, I can't
limit
one of your accounts.
Accounts or characters, because those are two totally different things.
I'm actually not 100% sure because it didn't look like there was multiple characters on the accounts that were shown in the image.
Okay, let me ask you this. Do you think that cross save is a prelude to crossplay? Or better question, do you think that Bungie went to Sony asking for crossplay and this was the compromise?
I think no. I think if they were able to do crossplay, that would have been a part of the conversation already. I know Destiny in particular has a very unique and complex server setup. Crossplay may be more difficult for Destiny than something like Call of Duty, which we also know is getting crossplay this year.
So, also, if Sony was the deciding factor, then we would have heard about cross-platform play on the other 3 platforms, but not Sony.
Yes, that's also it. So,
well, let me kick this to Imran. I'm curious to get his opinion on this. So, I get the sense, and I'm just literally just a crackpot theory of mine, but they also announced that exclusivity is done. Like, there's no more exclusive content, which is good in my opinion. I've never been a fan of third-party exclusivity for anything. But with that being done, do you think that lays the groundwork for crossplay in the future? If Sony or if Bungie thinks they can convince Sony, because that would be. That would be huge. Rocket League is one thing, but something like Destiny is a completely different ballgame.
I would think so. I'm sure Bungie is trying to get that done, but at the same time, like it was said that it's too complex. It may just be like an issue of they cannot do it with Destiny 2. Maybe it's going to have to be a thing they work on for years, or it comes with a Destiny 3 or Destiny 2 PS5 edition or whatever. Like there's a lot of options for how they can get that put in. I don't think anything today laid the groundwork for it, except showing that Sony is amenable to some of these things. They have to fight tooth and nail to get it done, but there is options there for how they want to have a more cohesive ecosystem.
So, Derek, I want to throw this at you now. Like, you've never been that big of a Destiny player.
Hey John, can I stop you for 2 seconds? There's a clarification in chat about the cross save thing.
Oh, from Engage Family Gaming.
That's
thank you.
So, Reb, do you want to go ahead and read that?
You choose a character set, like a group of characters. Okay. Sounds like it's by account. Sounds like it's by account, which can each have 3 characters. Okay.
Okay. So, all right. So that makes more sense. That makes more sense to me. That's a little more permissive to me.
Okay. Sorry, please continue.
No. I was just going to ask so I like Destiny, and this will probably get me back. And I know Justin loves Destiny, and this will probably get him back. Derek, as somebody who doesn't play Destiny, does the idea of being able to take your saves basically to any platform you want where the game is available, does that change your mind at all? Does that compel you? Is that...
So the nice thing is I don't have to really care about Destiny because I can literally just map that onto whatever online game I enjoy playing and it works. Like if I'm an Overwatch guy, then I just map it to Overwatch. I'm a Monster Hunter person, so like you're telling me if like Monster Hunter was available on Stadia and I could just move my save or characters and progress over to Stadia and do that, great, awesome. That would actually be super helpful. Right now, I mean, you don't need me to tell you that a lot of people get stuck on their one platform with online games because they put dozens of hours into a character or a save and then that progress doesn't transfer over. And anytime we get the opportunity to break down those barriers and give people both the ability to play on whatever system they want with the same save on these large online service games, but then also to play with people on other platforms, because I think that cross save and cross play are two sides of the same coin.
That's what I was thinking too.
It doesn't, like, it's great that JT, oh please don't do this to me right now.
Oh yes! Thank you. Yes, everybody ready?
No, don't do this. It was yesterday.
Happy birthday, dear Derek. Blow your fucking whatever, man. Blow your fucking candles out. Hell yeah.
They won't go out.
They're sparky ones.
This is too wholesome for SDGC.
Keep going.
Okay, we did it. No,
you didn't.
No, you didn't.
Yay!
Okay. I wasn't expecting that, but
Happy
thank
birthday,
you.
Derek.
Someone pushed Derek's face into the cake. Someone smushed his face into the cake.
Imran, all I heard was Will Ferrell from Step Brothers saying, "Happy birthday, Derek! Happy birthday, Derek!" Like, Derek, dude, what is that? Is that a cupcake? What is that?
It's 3 different mini slices of cheesecake.
Aww.
Derek, look at all that birthday love in chat, man. We have the
know.
best. I swear to God, like I don't say this enough, but the people who watch this podcast, you guys are the fucking best.
It's a nice thing about being a small
You guys
show.
and gals are the fucking best. You're the best. You're all the best. God damn it, I fucking love every one of you.
Anyway, what I was saying is cross-save, cross-play is 2 sides of the same coin, and it feels incomplete when you don't have both. Do I get more wine? Hell yes!
You get more wine. Hell yeah. That's a healthy serving of wine right there.
This is a millennial-sized wine glass.
Holy shit, that's a fucking goblet.
This isn't I've had a bad fucking day or a good fucking day size glass.
Right now.
Yeah, right?
Take it.
Just
Derek,
slam it on the floor.
Derek, I want you to get real mad. I want you to get real mad about what a man is, and then throw it on the floor in a fit of rage. Do it.
But so we talk about, like, we brought up JT, our buddy Flunky, who does not usually show up on the show, but is still active within the group in internal discussions. It's really cool that he can take his character to PS4 and play with Justin, and then move his save to his iPad and play on the toilet. But why does he have to be able to move his save to the PlayStation 4 to play with Justin? Right? Like, you know, why can't he just pick up from his save on PC or keep it on iPad or whatever his platform of choice is? And now, to your point, in this particular case, it doesn't seem like Sony is the sole holdout or problem. Destiny may very well not have been well designed around this feature in terms of how its netcode works, or however, it could be a back of house problem, right? It may not just be bad guy Sony saying no. But to me, it's cool, but it's a cool half measure. You know, cross save without cross play is half of a solution to me.
Yeah, that's kind of what I was thinking. Like, I made a lot of friends in Destiny 1, but a lot of them moved to Destiny 2 or to PC with Destiny 2. And I really miss being able to run raids with those people. They were really cool. Like, I still talk to them a lot, but like they still want to play on PC and I'm still on console. Like, that part is not, changing. I am hopeful for the future of crossplay though, because I feel like every time Sony makes one of these concessions, their arguments against it get more and more eroded, and players come to expect it more and more. Like, I really hope we make some bigger strides, because like, I like playing games on PlayStation. I don't like making people, play on other platforms to join me. But like, I also can't afford to buy other platforms to play with other people. Right. Like, I just want to be able to play with my friends, like, on what I already own.
Right? Like, that's what Sony wants you to think is, but you're stopping just short of where they want you to be. Of, I can't play with my friends should buy PS4s to play with me.
Yeah,
right.
no.
But the other thing that I
am is like, well, do I stick with buying stuff on PlayStation where I do have a couple hundred games and I know they're going to carry over, or do I buy a different platform so I can actually play with my friends?
Well, and that's the thing.
Right,
Go ahead, Reb, I'm sorry.
I think that's going to be maybe kind of interesting as we get into the next generation of consoles as well, and in case if we start to see more games launch with cross-platform play capabilities. Because if we have new consoles and everything that are coming out and people are deciding what to buy, and we have new games coming out that are touting, oh, it'll be cross-platform on Xbox, Switch, and PC, but not PlayStation, but it's out on PlayStation, people are gonna say, well, I'm not gonna be able to play with my friends if I'm on PlayStation, so why would I do it?
Reb, I got a question for you. Do you think that part of Sony's reluctance to initiate things like crossplay or cross saves are due to the fact that they are afraid that if they do that, people would say, well, like, if I could just transfer my save from an Xbox to a PS, like, why would I buy it on PS4 to begin with? Like, if I can just do crossplay, then I can buy my games on Xbox and not have to worry about picking up a PS4 or buying it on PS4. It doesn't matter. I can play it literally with my friends on PS4.
Well, I think you're conflating cross saves and cross platform play. Which,
Well, I don't mean to conflate them.
But I think it's two different issues, right? Like, so that doesn't. I don't think that necessarily applies for cross platform play. But if you're talking about cross saves, I think that's. Do many games do that? I don't actually know.
Do cross
Yes.
saves?
Honestly, I think Destiny's one of the only ones that's just
Fortnite and
cross.
Dauntless are the other two.
Yeah, well, they have cross play though, but like I think Destiny's the only one that's only cross.
What did Imran say? I missed that.
Oh, I was just in terms of cross save, I was thinking Fortnite and Dauntless, but he's right. They also have cross play.
Okay, all right. But I think that Destiny is really the only big AAA game that does that now, right? Like they're kind of breaking new ground here.
I'll tell you Sony's actual argument of what they think is that they don't want people who buy things on PlayStation to be able to use them other places.
That's exactly what I was thinking. Yep, that lines up pretty.
I mean, it's a very short-sighted answer, but that's what their executives think. So until their executives start thinking differently, then we're gonna have these weird exceptions and like one-offs.
Are you sure? Are you sure? Because Jim Ryan told me he was worried about the kids, and I took him at his word.
Jim Ryan says.
He really does. Justin, go ahead, and then I want to kick it to Finn.
So, I do want to kind of mention like Call of Duty getting crossplay because I think that's a really big deal. Simply because I think that and Fortnite are the two games with like the widest appeal that are going to have it. And I think like the second you let a game that has so much because Destiny is a big game, but it's a big game among hardcore players, right? It's not like a big game with casual people. Call of Duty Modern Warfare is going to be big among like more casual players. Fortnite is huge among younger players and more casual players. Like this is like these are the types of games that are going to set features like this as a baseline expectation. And like by allowing these exceptions, like I think like the ability to argue against it is going to go away because people are just going to accept it. They're like, well, I can do it in the other game I play. Like, why can't I do it in this one?
So I feel like I don't want to beat the Destiny horse too hard. Does anybody else have any comments they want to make on Destiny 2 or or the cross save issue itself?
I don't care about Destiny, but I thought some of you said you wanted to talk about Bungie and Activision.
I don't.
Oh, that's a whole nother. Okay. So that's a whole nother like chapter of this, right?
Yeah.
So the stream talked about more than just cross save. It talked about Shadowkeep, September's new big
expansion. The new expansion,
and it also talked about plans to make the game go free to play. So as of September,
right? Okay.
Yeah, that's a pretty big part of this. So
I forgot about the new light thing.
Yeah. So Destiny 2 is going to be rebranded as Destiny 2 New Light.
I think it's just Destiny New Light. I think it's
Destiny
just
New Light.
Yeah, I don't think there's a 2 in there.
So it's going to be the entirety of the vanilla game plus Curse of Osiris and Warmind. Those will be free to play.
Free to play.
And they will be on Steam come September.
And Stadia.
That
hot new Stadia.
Yeah. And then basically their business model from now on is they still have the Eververse store and then the further expansions you purchase. And I think starting today, I'm not 100% sure about this, but like Forsaken and the Year One expansions are going to be bundled. So that's a pretty massive move for Destiny.
It is. Destiny going free to play at least up until Shadowkeep is interesting. I don't know what this is going to do to bring new players in, because that's a lot of. I mean, we're what at that point we'll be 3-4 years into Destiny 2. I can't remember exactly how long.
It'll be the beginning of year 3. Yeah.
Imran, what was that?
You have the nicest mic, Imran, and I can never hear you when you start talking.
Keep in mind that NetEase put $100 million into Bungie, I think 2 years ago, last year.
Last year, I think.
Last year.
There is very likely at some point in the next year or two they're going to launch Destiny in China. That's how
that
you
would
get
be
new players in.
huge.
That's how you get
That's
that
also
new,
probably
like,
a big part of free to play.
So let me ask you this. Do you think that we know that Destiny 3 is in development? We know that when Activision was in charge, that it was the Destiny. I still think Destiny 3 is a thing, but I don't think it's called Destiny 3 anymore. I think that Destiny is now a World of Warcraft model where there's no like World of Warcraft 2, there's no World of Warcraft 3. There's just Destiny and a continuous evolving MMO style game. And I wanted to see what Imran thought about that, because I get the sense that is really what Bungie wanted and Activision wasn't having it.
So it's not clear what the big breakdown between Activision and Bungie was. Activision had plans for Destiny that over like people were mentioning in chat the 10-year plan.
You sound so much better now, by the way.
I found a little gain knob on the back of my microphone.
Now you're a little much. You went a little too far the opposite way.
We'll say I don't actually know which way is less gain and which way is more gain.
Is that a Yeti mic, Imran?
Yes, it is.
Do you want me to blow your fucking mind?
What?
You're talking into the mic wrong.
Oh, you are.
It's a side address mic, not a top address. So it's the front.
What does that mean? Okay.
It means
like,
the
turn it
side
around.
with the volume knob and the mute button is the side of the mic that you actually speak into.
What?
Yep. Nobody seems to know this. I have to correct this for every single person. But if you
Why
got it
is
on
it
the
fucking
cardioid
built this
setting,
way?
it
You
is so
sound
dumb.
so much better now.
Oh my god.
Okay.
I'm really mad now.
Oh, that's
Yeah.
great. That's
Do
beautiful.
you hear him now?
Yeah.
It's so good.
Holy
I
shit,
just-
Imran sounds fucking great.
Can I just point out that this is just one of the many benefits you get from joining the SDGC show?
Yeah.
Yeah. We fixed your
I've been
fucking
subbed
shit,
for 2
Imran.
months and I'm finally getting some shit out of this.
Oh
Yeah.
my
Listen to
god,
how
that's
good
really
it sounds
good.
now.
Night and day.
Wow.
Okay.
Okay,
What
please
was I
continue
talking
with your
about?
point now with a
I
new,
don't
new and
remember what my
improved
point
voice.
is, Ram.
Reb's mind is
like that
Reb's
again.
mind is fucking blown over here. She's like, holy shit.
Can you fix my Kirby mic?
You're Reb, your Kirby mic.
That doesn't need to be
Not
fixed.
great.
It's perfect already.
Holy shit, that is a Kirby mic.
Yeah, I was like, there's eyes on that. That's
I
weird.
thought Reb was being facetious, but no, that's a fucking Kirby mic.
It's a snowball mic with Kirby eyes taped to it, but whatever.
Imran, you were
Okay.
saying that you were saying that you weren't sure what the breakdown between Bungie and Activision was.
So, Activision had plans for Destiny 3. I believe they're pulling Beanox or some other developer team that wasn't on Call of Duty to work on the game. But I think Destiny 2 not selling well got them very skittish. So I think probably Bungie did want to make a Destiny 3 and get some much needed engine overhauls into that game. But I think Activision was kind of pulling back from the license. And I know I talked to people at Activision where they're trying to figure out, should they buy the license from Bungie and let them just go on their own way and find their own developer? Should they just let Bungie have the license and just let them do their own thing? And obviously that's what they did. I think Destiny 3 would be probably out by now or announced at E3 if they were still with Activision.
Interesting. So, do you think that it's possible that Destiny 3 as a whole is simply absorbed into what is now just an ongoing living game that just goes and goes and goes? Like,
Yeah, if they're not launching a new game as free to play, what they're doing is taking Destiny 2 and making it free to play. That's what they're doing for the rest of this thing.
that's kind of what I thought too. Justin, go ahead.
Also, just like building off of that, a lot of the rumors that were going around about what Destiny 3 was going to be seem to be wrapped up in Shadowkeep. Like
I
Not
expect
like-
us to have a big focus on the Drifter.
well, did you see how much of like if you look at the video, there's way more RPG elements in Shadowkeep.
which is
way
interesting.
more. Like
Which is interesting, Justin,
Um,
because I had heard that like Destiny 3 as it had existed under Activision was supposed to be like a hardcore MMO style RPG. Like they were going to really
Yeah,
ramp
the-
those elements up.
the rumors about what Destiny 3 was like from a gameplay and design and gear standpoint really seem to be showing up in Shadowkeep, which I think is kind of Bungie I think is a sign that Bungie is going to make Destiny like a more of a living game than another, release.
I agree 110%. That's exactly where my mind was too. I wanted to it's 10 o'clock and I wanted to spring a different topic.
Okay.
Everybody. I wanted to Reb is really happy.
I think we know where we're going.
Because
Don't get excited. He's done this before. It doesn't end well.
One of the E3 conferences I'm most interested in is Nintendo. And we just had a big information drop for Pokemon Sword and Shield. And there's a lot that Pokemon Sword and Shield is doing to switch up the formula. And I really wanted to talk about this.
It's making sheep.
Switch up the formula?
I wanted to switch up the formula. I'm sorry. I fucked up. I'm sorry, guys. Let me fix that. I wanted to switch up the formula.
No.
He ruined
You are
Pokemon
not allowed
talk.
to, John.
How do you
Talk
ruin
about-
Pokemon talk?
Talk about Pokemon
I don't
Sword
like
and
it.
Shield.
I don't
John,
like
there's
it.
only room for one deep and
Only
sultry voice on this
Daryl!
podcast.
Derek gets to do that. Come on.
All right. At any
And it's
rate,
Team Middle, baby.
as a new Pokemon fan, and Reb and I had a very excellent podcast last year
did,
about
yeah.
Pokemon Let's Go, which is still one of my favorite podcasts that we've done. I am a new Pokemon fan, and I actually just picked up, Reb, you should know, I just picked up Pokemon Emerald from a modded Game Boy Advance.
Ooh, fun
that
choice.
I'm gonna start that up. I
Bold
saw that.
choice.
I saw Nick on Twitter post a screen. I was like, that is some beautiful fucking pixel art right there.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna check that out. But I am very Douglas in chat says I'll up my Patreon for John to do Pokemon ASMR.
No.
Hey, if
No.
that's what you want. I mean, if the people demand it.
Well,
then I'm-
okay,
Zero
hold on.
people are
What-
demanding this.
So
What would Pokemon ASMR be? Is it just John reading
Do we really
list
wanna go
of
here?
all the
Oh my
Pokemon?
god.
do we really want to go here? Because it's kind of like gotta catch them all.
Nope.
Okay, never mind. Put that genie back in the bottle.
So Pokemon Sword and Shield, what interests me the most right off the bat are fucking raid battles in Pokemon. I don't think anybody saw this coming except maybe Imran, because Imran seems to know. Imran, you knew, didn't you? Imran, you knew, didn't you?
His mic is dead.
Imran's muted.
Imran's
You
now
sat
muted.
there fussing with it for so long, you broke it.
Make sure your mute button isn't blinking.
Imran broke
All
his
right.
mic.
Well, while he's fixing his mic to answer that question, let me tell you all about a very special Pokemon called Wooloo.
Wooloo
is
is
a sheep Pokemon.
life.
Lulu
It's
is
so
a
round and
fucking sheep.
fluffy. It has two abilities. Those abilities are Fluffy and Run Away. And Wooloo is known for its very soft and squishy wool. And it is also known for the fact that it doesn't like conflict. It likes to go along with what other people are doing. And if there's some... John, get away from that fucking mic. And if there's some kind of conflict or problem, it just rolls away. And Wooloo is my new best friend. Wooloo is going to be my friend and partner and love throughout my journey in Pokemon Sword and Shield. And also, I don't know, Wooloo says trans rights. Yeah.
Lulu does say trans
Wooloo
rights.
does!
Imran, you're still dead.
I say that shit too. I say trans rights. Imran is still fucking dead.
And
This is- This is too pure. This topic. Here's the problem. This topic. Oh, hey, Lena. This topic is too
Lena.
pure for Imran. I
Lena
think that's
shows
the
up
problem.
just in time for Wooloo to say trans rights.
Wait, where's Lena?
Yeah, that was perfectly timed.
I miss
So,
Lena.
so I have to ask a question to Reb, because Reb
Because
is like,
Imran's not here and can't answer questions.
because Imran can't answer fucking questions right now because
How did you
he's
break this? You were doing so well.
you were doing so well, Imran. What did you? Hey, Imran, blink twice for yes and once for no. And now
You
Reb
okay,
is falling
Reb?
over.
Nope, it's just the slanted floor again.
Oh, Reb's just rolling away again. Okay, for anybody in chat, because we've got some new people in chat who aren't aware of this. Reb has a slanted floor, and it's
About once a
honestly,
day.
it's
Except
one of the
once a
most
day.
wholesome things that happens on this podcast. Reb will eventually just kind of slowly drift away from her computer.
I'm like a Wooloo, I just roll away.
It's fucking fantastic. Reb, raid battles. How the fuck is this going to work, Reb?
So it looks like just looking at the trailer. This is mostly me guessing interspersed with some actual facts. If you watch the trailer when it's showing the wild area, there were these kind of like red beams in various places. I mean, the whole thing looked like a less visually appealing version of Breath of the Wild, really, with like these kind of vistas and these things you can see from a distance. But yeah, there's like these red beams, and it looks like if you go up to one of those red beams, I assume connect with other people. You probably get an option to either connect with friends or connect with random people online.
That's what I was thinking.
And you enter a battle with 3 other people against some giant Pokemon. I refuse to call them what they actually are. They're big.
Dynamax.
No, they're big. They're big Pokemon.
They're just big Pokemon.
And big.
Huge Pokemon.
Real big,
And
large.
Megan.
You know, this could just be guys. This could just be a natural evolution of like the huge Pokemon, the tiny Pokemon. Like, what if this is just them saying we finally have the technology available to make a no bullshit huge Pokemon? That could be it.
I think it seems it's very reminiscent of raid battles in Pokemon Go, right? Because remember when you fight Pokemon in Pokemon Go that are in raids, they're huge, and then you beat them and they shrink down and you catch them. It's
very reminiscent of Go.
Yeah, it's borrowing from that, which I love.
Yeah, I think it's very smart.
Finn, before you go, I just real quick, I want to echo what somebody said in our DM the other day, and I want Snorlax to sit on a fascist. That's what I want.
Yeah, that was Zach.
Was that Zach? Oh, full credit to Zach. Zach, I just want I want Snorlax to sit on a fucking fascist. That's what I want. Finn, go ahead, bud.
Hell yeah.
No, I mean, I think I might be tied with Reb in terms of our biggest Pokemon fans in the group. I've been Pokemoning it up since the OG Red.
Oh God, Justin's gonna fight you on this. He just went somewhere.
Justin
What's he got?
Oh no, he's getting his chunky boy.
Yeah.
Justin, put him on a fascist.
This machine kills fascists.
Justin is the bigger Snorlax fan. I'll give him that.
I love that Snorlax so much.
Finn, please continue.
I was both excited and a little disappointed in the direct. I think I assume we're getting it because they're not going to have too much of a focus on Pokemon at E3 because Game Freak kind of does their own thing. But I didn't feel like it told us that much outside of like, hey, we've added Go and Let's Go mechanics. But
I think it did.
I mean, I distinctly remember the big deep dive they did for Sun and Moon, and that was a very informative. Like, I walked away feeling super hyped. Like, I'm very excited for Sword and Shield, but I just remember coming away from that 15-minute direct and going like, wait, that's all we got? Like, I don't know. But the things that they did show were great because I've recently gotten back into Pokemon Go, and as Reb is my new friend in Pokemon Go, and she sends me gifts all the time. So yay, besties! Yay!
Reb, just so you know, I've got 70 hours in Pokemon Go now.
I'm proud of you.
All right, Reb, I'll keep going, but you.
Oh no, I'm sorry. Pokemon Let's Go. That's what I meant. Pokemon
Whatever.
Let's Go.
Oh no, I was just gonna answer you, Finn.
Okay, go.
By the way, poor Imran. Oh my God.
I know. Imran.
How did you? I don't know how you
do,
managed
Imran?
this.
He's back to
Tell
chat.
It's not like he can answer us.
Oh God. So Finn, I don't have a super clear memory of Sun and Moon specifically and what their reveal was like, but the thing about what I've seen with the Pokemon Company and how they release info about Pokemon games is they tend to be like that, right? Like they tend to drop first like an initial reveal and then like a trailer that kind of gives like the big highlights, like the whatever their big thing is going to be for that generation and maybe a couple Pokemon. And then what I would expect to see is they'll probably have playable demos at E3. And they're probably going to be, I'm sure they'll have something in the wild area, and I don't know, they might have something else, but it'll be really limited. Like the Pokemon Let's Go demo is just Viridian Forest, and it was so confined. And I bet we see another super limited demo at E3 again. And then over the next several months, I bet we get little tiny bits. Like for Sun and Moon, I remember they would drop like, here's one feature, here's another feature, here's a single Pokemon. And they would like release these in just really tiny little bits. And yes, as Dougal just said in chat, by the end of it, we weren't supposed to know everyone. There was that huge leak before Sun and Moon came out that gave us the rest of the Pokemon, but we did know quite a few going into that.
Okay, well,
I think we knew all the other Pokemon. My point is,
Well, I just wanted to get that out of the way because the stuff that they did show, I was really into. I just felt like I had a weird feeling I can't quite explain about, like I wasn't fully excited about it. But the stuff that they do have, and I don't know if maybe it's because the new features aren't actually new if you've played Let's Go and Go. It's just added these features into a core Pokemon game. Maybe that's what it is. Because having the wild area with the roaming Pokemon is everything I've wanted in a core Pokemon game in a long time.
So good.
But then they were like, JK, whatever the routes are and stuff, you're back to the wild grass.
It is weird that that's kind of separated, right? Like, you only get free camera control. Derek. It is, but it feels like it's weird that you only get the Pokemon, the roaming Pokemon, and only get free camera control, and only have raids, and only have these things in the wild area, which is only one chunk of, like, it's bigger than Safari Zone level chunk, but it's one distinct separate chunk. This is very weird to me.
I wonder if it's specifically like a multiplayer zone or something. Like, I wonder if going into the wild area means you have to like connect to the internet or.
And here's your question:
like that.
If this is in fact a massive, especially with the raids and everything, Pokemon games have kind of circumvented Nintendo's shitty online because it's always been turn-based. Because it doesn't matter, you don't need a stable super internet connection like in a Smash Bros or Mario Kart or a Splatoon where it's a very real-time game. You can input your command and then it happens. So it kind of like you forget that you're on Nintendo's shitty online. But if now you're doing raids and you have to work in concert with people, and if it's anything like Pokemon Go, you have to coordinate. And I hope everyone has their Discord open because you're not getting
No, their Nintendo Online app, Finn.
Oh, I'm so sorry. Yes, with your Splatoon 2 headset. No, but I mean that's the kind of thing. Like, I want to be all in because I love doing raids in Pokemon Go, especially with some random people. But the more they put online into Pokemon, the more it actually has to rely on Nintendo's online.
I think it's going to be
and
fine.
I worry about. Sure, that's what you said about Smash Brothers. You were really excited about.
But I was, but dude, Splatoon runs just fine. Like, I have never had a single hitch. Or on Mario Kart, I've never had a single bad thing to say about Mario Kart 8's online experience. So like, I think. It has less to do, like Smash has less to do with Nintendo servers than just the fact that the actual code for the online in the game just isn't optimized well in Smash Brothers. I don't really think that's a Nintendo problem.
Fighting games in general are difficult to get the online right in. I don't think any fighting game has had a truly great online experience to this day. I mean,
so I'm not really worried about the online aspect of it. I'm more curious about how much variety there's going to be, because in that, in those short little raid clips, I'm assuming that they were the little raid clips we saw what, 4 players, Reb, I think it was.
Yes,
it looked like four players. And I don't, like, the best way I could describe it is I'm playing Final Fantasy 14 right now, right? And like, there's actual raid mechanics in the raid fights. Like, you have full mobility, you have to, look out for attacks, you have to move, you have to coordinate with your team. In something that is stationary and turn-based, I wonder how much diversification of strategy there can be.
Oh, John.
Oh, there's gonna. Oh man,
John.
John
have you never seen Pokemon competitive? Holy
John
shit.
is not.
Then again, hey, I'm a new Pokemon guy.
Okay,
so.
That's true.
John, the competitive scene and strategies in Pokemon will blow your goddamn mind.
Will it blow my fucking? Will it blow my fucking mind?
It will. It will. You have no idea.
People have strategized ways to like beat the Elite Four with a Rattata using techniques that they've learned.
Rattata.
Yeah.
Fear Rattata.
Using techniques that they've learned from competitive Pokemon is nuts. One of the things that consistently impresses me, I have no interest in competitive Pokemon. I don't fucking know how it works. It's not my thing. But I am extremely impressed every single time that Game Freak has managed to make a game that is extremely appealing, simple to understand mostly, and fun for people who don't have any interest in super complicated stuff, but is deep enough that there are just like the strategies. There's a whole meta. It's
John,
insane.
If you ever want to just fall down the rabbit hole, go to smogon.com.
Oh my
God. Don't go to Smogon.
Don't go to Smogon.
Real quick. And you will just never leave.
You have to know, you all in chat and here have to know what just happened. I think just to me on Discord, because it's the best thing that I have seen in a long time. Imran was looking at his headset on my Discord screen, and then he froze. And 2 seconds later, all of a sudden, he was staring at the screen, and his headset was on, and he had a confused look on his face. And it was the fucking most amazing thing I've ever. Wow, that was excellent. Imran, I know it was.
There?
What's that?
Is Justin still there?
Justin, are you still? Yeah, he's still there.
Okay.
I was actually wondering if he just
in character
there and walked away. But Yeah, I am very excited about Pokemon Sword and Shield. We actually did have I want to answer a quick question from Anthony, our boy Anthony Agnello in chat. He wants to know how we feel about two versions of the same game still being a thing. The point he made was, let me scroll up here real quick. He said it's weird that a tradition born out of tech limitations that turned into a way to maximize profit is still around.
Yeah, I think it's stupid as hell. I hate it.
I think it's dumb too, personally. I think it's because Game Freak and Nintendo know that people will buy fucking two versions. Yeah. Quite honestly, like they know it's going to happen. Justin, what about you?
I'm gonna say a single sentence. I think it's especially dumb now that we have online capabilities and can have Pokemon Bank and can trade with any game that we want and get all the Pokemon we want without having to specifically trade with someone who has the opposite version of the game. Okay,
I agree. Justin, go ahead.
Yeah, I was gonna say that, and like I'm gonna get a little heated with this one. There's so many people writing articles and making videos about bad practices in the game industry, and overcharging for microtransactions and stuff like that. And Nintendo has gotten away with charging for 2 fucking copies of the same game for the past 20 years. And no one has called them out because it's Nintendo and it's been grandfathered in.
Finn,
I disagree with that because they're not charging you for both. You don't have to buy both. The whole point is you only have to buy one, and there's a handful of things that you can trade between. You're not missing out by not buying 2 games.
It's usually like a single-digit number of Pokemon that are different between them.
Yeah, and I think maybe Ruby and Sapphire were the only 2 that had significant plot changes between the 2. And because in Black and White and Sun and Moon, the only difference is the different legendaries that pop up.
Yeah, which I have a huge issue with.
But that's not the same as forcing you to buy 2 copies of the game, because that's not what they're doing. So I disagree with your take on that, but it is a silly practice. I just don't think they need to be dragged for doing it. That's all.
So we're getting closer and closer to 10:30, and I don't want to go over our time. Imran, I guess, still has not been able to figure, and now we lost him.
Now he died.
Imran, so it was, hey, Imran, if you can hear us, dude, buddy, it was good.
I cursed him by letting him know how he was supposed to orient his
actually
mic.
Derek,
everything was great.
Christ, Derek, what the fuck, man?
Everything was great till then.
God, but you know what? That's what we do here at SDGC. We fuck people's shit up in a good way. Like sometimes in a bad way, like we did to Imran, but mostly in a good way. So here's my question. And we'll close with this question. We'll close with Imran.
Yay!
Right at the end.
I've been using that mic for a year. One conversation with you guys, broken.
That's all it takes sometimes, man. It's just one conversation with us. That is absolutely.
Hey, we also fixed it for a few minutes.
We did. So you could say that it's perfectly balanced, as all things should be. Imran, we're just about to wrap up, and I had a question for the chat and for specifically Derek and Reb. This your boy right here has tomorrow off. If we wanted to do a special morning podcast for our friends who sit around at work and like to listen to stuff, I would not be adverse to this. I'm just throwing it out there.
Your morning is very different from my morning.
Yeah.
I'm just saying. Something to think about.
You should ask us this when the podcast is over.
Something to think about. Something to think about. Who knows? Who knows what's going to happen?
Finn had a thing?
I might be able to do it.
Did Finn have a thing? Okay. Sorry, I didn't see you, Finn. We'll go ahead and wrap it up here. What's that?
I'm not against coming on again when my mic actually works.
So we'd love to have you back.
Yeah, so anytime.
Imran, we would love to have you back, Imran. We're sorry about your mic. Actually, I'm sorry. Derek is sorry about your mic.
I'm sorry.
It's hilarious. Like, should I turn the camera off at any point? Like, no, I'm just gonna let people watch this bullshit.
No, that's on brand. That's completely on brand. People watching us bumble around and fuck up is completely on brand. So
Imran,
please.
what was your favorite Pokemon from the trailer?
Wooloo, duh.
Yeah,
okay,
of
good.
course.
Just making sure. That's everyone's favorite Pokemon.
It wasn't Corviknight.
Wooloo is everyone's favorite Pokemon.
Wooloo is the most adorable.
Round.
Corviknight is the most badass that was shown.
Mine was Sif from Dark Souls.
Nah, that's
Wooloo
pretty fun.
evolves again and becomes Steel Wooloo.
Ooh.
All right, I'm just gonna say before we go, Grookey Gang for life. Sobbles can suck.
Sobble Gang.
All I'm saying.
No, you know
Sobble
what? Wait,
Gang.
hold on.
And
I'm sorry.
They know that, and that's why they're great.
I'm not gonna fucking tolerate any anti-Sobble propaganda. Sobble is my beautiful son, and I will fucking
good
fight you to
thing
protect him.
Sobble has going for him is that he's doing the Shikamaru pose from Naruto.
You know what?
Yeah, well, you know what, Finn?
I'm a Score
Sobble
Bunny
is
fan,
trying.
but Score Bunny cares about Sobble and will protect it.
You know what, Finn? The only good thing you have going for you is
Saki. I understand.
Your
Oh,
stupid,
wow.
Your stupid
No,
blue shirt, Finn. Your stupid blue shirt with its
Florida
dumb collar.
shirt. Your
It's a good
Florida
shirt.
shirt.
Your
You know what?
stupid Florida
Hold
man
on.
shirt. What are you doing, Finn? What are you doing,
What do you
Nothing.
do?
Finn? What are you doing?
What was that?
He just took his
Are you
pants
taking your
off.
pants? What are you doing, Finn? No,
Taking his pants
You
off.
wanna
Finn. Are you seriously taking your pants off?
This is
Oh my God.
Florida.
No! No!
That's peak Florida for you.
Finn, you could have just stood up. Man.
Finn, what are you doing?
It's
No,
fine.
no, he did exactly what he needed to. Bravo.
Wow.
You gotta live your best life, okay?
Anthony's the
Fair.
only and don't fucking look at the chat. Don't fucking encourage this. Don't fucking encourage this shit.
Oh God!
Oh, fuck it.
Julian's in here. There's gonna be a gif of this.
Fuck it, I'm taking my shirt off.
No.
don't. No.
Look,
And
first of
on
all-
that note,
First of all, mine works because it's all off camera. It leaves it all to the imagination.
For all you know, he had those sitting at the side. He was
I
wearing
did.
pants this whole time.
You
He
did, didn't you,
just-
Finn?
This whole time.
Stand up and prove it, Finn.
Nope.
No.
That's what I thought. That's what I thought, you liar.
I don't
Can
have
we-
to prove anything to you.
could we like have Finn pass his pants up to Derek, and Derek could wear the pants with his shirt, and it would be a really great combination.
How would Finn, like, are you talking about Finn literally putting his pants in the mail? Like-
No, he just
Finn is-
passes
Finn is
them
right
over.
below Derek on my
Oh,
screen,
is
so
he?
I assume
Okay,
if Derek
hold on.
reaches down and
Sorry.
Finn just reaches up, but I don't think it's like that on the actual.
No.
If you combine Derek's shirt and Finn's pants, you just have a Margaritaville.
I was gonna say, if you combine my shirt and Finn's shorts, you just have a romp him.
True.
We have gotten real into the nonsense.
It's gotten real. Like this is why people come to us for that good video game discussion. So a reminder to everybody: we will be streaming all of the E3 conferences. And I think tomorrow we'll go ahead and stream out who's going to be on what and what times you should tune in and all that stuff. But I love this time of year. I love E3, and one of my favorite things about E3 is spending it with my family here on SDGC and spending it with everybody in chat. That's one of the things I love most about E3 is just getting to talk about it and experience it with everybody.
Yes.
And I
I
don't.
hope you get a good time. I will not sleep for like 2 weeks.
Oh, it's fantastic.
I'm so excited.
And
Hang in there, we're cheering for you.
I wanted to
Somebody-
end.
Message reminding me to eat occasionally. That's gonna be the main thing.
You should.
Please eat
That's
occasionally.
probably pretty important.
Get you some Korean barbecue, man. Heck, let me live vicariously through you. I
You
haven't
think
had
I
any.
have time to go get Korean. It's gonna be hot dogs at the convention center.
Oh my God, make some time.
Yeah.
I wanted to end the podcast real quick on a positive note and share something personal with everybody. For the past year and a half, I have been dealing with some really severe anxiety issues. And I felt for a very long time that I wasn't really myself. But through not just cognitive behavior therapy and medication, but the support of all of my family here on SDGC and all the people who listen to us and care about us, I feel like I am myself for the first time in a very long time. I'm happier than I have been in a very long time. And to be, to get serious for a minute, I don't know what I would do without anybody on this podcast, and I don't know what I would do without any of you in chat. All of you, I love all of you, and all of you enrich my lives to a degree that I couldn't really ever begin to explain to you. So I just wanted to thank everybody here and everybody in chat from the bottom of my heart for helping me, being patient with me, and reminding me that there's plenty of good left in the world. I can't thank you enough for that. I love all of you, and I just wanted to say that. So Imran, dude, thank you so much for joining us tonight, man. I hope you decide to come on with us again at some point.
I will do my best to have a working microphone.
Please do. I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding. Honestly, I would pay for an hour of you just screwing around with your computer trying to fix it.
That's why
I would do it.
Watching me try to fix things.
Yeah,
pay for that,
next time we'll get you on. Next time we'll get you on just a little bit earlier, before the show, and I can maybe try to work through some of the technical difficulties because this is like the stuff I actually deal with for my job. So
yeah, and I want to say like I've known Derek for like what?
You've known of me for a while, yeah.
Yeah, back on NeoGAF when we were exchanging DMs.
Yeah.
Oh shit! I didn't know that, dude.
Yeah.
Imran, did you ever see my when I nuked my NeoGAF account and called out Tyler?
There were a lot of people doing that at once.
Yeah.
Yeah. Do you know that John didn't even know that I used to work for Nintendo when he asked me to join the show?
I had no idea. Yeah.
So
Derek is literally my Nintendo uncle.
I mean, I didn't know that until you told your Doug Bowser story.
Yeah.
Hey, his Bowser story wasn't dumb. It was stupid.
Doug Bowser.
I thought he said dumb.
Yeah, your dumb Bowser story.
Your stupid Bowser story.
John,
all right, everybody.
Thing to like this bullshit right after.
Yeah.
What was that?
We went for your very heartfelt like.
Yeah, but Imran, that's the problem is that we can't, like I can get heartfelt for a minute, but within 30 seconds the jig is up and everybody knows. Yeah, it all goes to shit again. That's our brand. But everybody, please, thank you so much for joining us tonight. We will be streaming all the conferences this weekend and next week. And everybody enjoy E3. And as always, it's not always poetry, and we don't always agree, but we always keep it real. Finn, we're ending the podcast. Put your hand down. Put your hand down, Finn.
Finn.
We're ending the podcast. Finn,
I decided when we end the podcast. Finn, go.
Oh, shit.
I'm just saying, make sure to let people know we'll be doing specific shows for each conference, aren't we? So they can tune
I just said,
our...
didn't I just say that? I did say
Oh, I didn't hear you.
We'll also
Finn,
let people know.
Because you don't listen to me, son.
We'll let people know specific times as far as the pre and post shows for each conference. So keep an eye on the official SDGC Twitter.
And making his first ever podcast appearance on Monday, Nick.
Yep.
Is going to be joining us.
Electivirus. I'm so happy. Me and Reb and Nick. It's going to be
too much
gayest podcast.
It's going to be the gayest podcast we've ever done. It's going to be
I love it.
And by the way, this is his.
Can you market it like that, please? The gayest podcast?
No, I will. You fucking A right. I'm going to market it like that. It is the gayest, most
Happy Pride Month, motherfuckers.
It's going to be the most pride-filled fucking
I'm really
podcast
excited
ever.
to be the token straight guy.
Yes.
It's going to be awesome.
I'm straight too.
Oh, you're going to be there?
But I'll be gay as hell for all y'all, so that's fine. All right, everybody. It's not always poetry. We don't always agree, but we always keep it real. See you later. Good night.